Hey, this is Jackie Chin, and you're listening to Zombiepalooza Radio Live. Today's guest, Cody Huskins. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. We've been looking forward to this for a while.
Oh, for a long time, at least about a month and a half. All right,
Yeah.
so for those of us who don't know who you are or what it is you do, give us a little of your story.
Well, the people that do know who I am, they probably know that I've been in cosplay now for probably going on 8 years now. Uh, Mostly known for playing and um, portraying Jason Voorhees in my cosplay outfits. I have done every look through every film, two through Jason X. Um, and plus with the other horror characters like Michael Myers and Leatherface and all those. And but for some reason, I'm just known for the Jason, probably just where I've done so many different kinds of costumes and everything. And I get it all the time. I'll be talking to somebody and I tell them I play Jason Voorhees, and I got an upcoming fan film that's going to be coming out, two of them actually, where I'm playing Jason. And they say you got the right build for it. I hear that from everybody. I ran. Um, Jeremy Ray Taylor that was in It. He goes to the same gym as I do. You know, the little boy from It. You
Oh,
know the
yes, balloon and
um,
the whole thing.
yeah, and I'm friends with
Sucker, not a balloon, sucker.
yes, I run it. I'm friends with him now, and he's seen me at the gym. I told him what I did and everything, and he said you're the right size for him. So
My
I hear
goodness.
that. I hear that from everybody, and he's an A-list actor too.
So when you started getting into horror and wanting to do the cosplay of one of the most iconic horror characters out there, Jason Voorhees, what was your what was your inspiration for just getting into acting as a cosplayer?
I have always, since I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, I've always loved dressing up for Halloween. I could tell you my first memorable costume when I was 5 years old. Now I was Dracula, and ever since then, I was always some kind of like horror character every year. I think one year I was Batman when I was a kid, but other than that, I was always horror characters. And Jason, for some reason, I was him every year after like I was in the like fourth or fifth grade. It was Jason, Jason, Jason. I was just like, I just love the character so much. I love how he's always looked, not just with the plain hockey mask, it's his body type. Part seven, he's a rotted corpse, and part three, he's just a normal man, and but he's still got the hunchback kind, and he's got the big traps in the neck, and I just something always intrigued me about that more than Michael Myers. Michael Myers is just a thin, guy in a dirty coveralls and a white mask.
There's a
Jason
little
always
bit
had a little more.
more kind of I don't know.
Something about Jason is scarier than Michael Myers to me. It's he's a big, huge guy. Um,
And
so it's just
there's not much conversation that comes out of him. Are you kind
no,
of
not
are
at
you
all.
you like the quiet type?
Yeah, I'm really quiet type in real life too. So, um, but as I gotten older, and I got out of horror when I was like out of high school. I got right more into bodybuilding. I still bodybuild,
Mm-hmm.
work out every day, and then when I was about 35, I went 36. I went to my first horror con. I fell in love. Never been to a horror con before. I met Kane Hodder, and I was just like, I'm hooked. So ever since then, I got really serious into doing cosplay and all that, and I've been doing it ever since. And so I love it, and it's a passion. I love making. I was working on a costume last night, so I'm just I love it so much. It's for me when I work on costume stuff. It's like therapy. It's just like an artist, and I think
So
Clarence even
yeah, So a lot of the people that I bring onto this show, they're very much like it's therapeutic for them when if they're going to write or if they're going to act or if they're going to do special effects or anything like that. There is a piece of their mind that just gets to rest
Hmm.
and go into either the character or go into the act of making something with their hands so that they can just enjoy that whatever that zing is that they get from doing the work.
Yeah. You had Clarence Adams on your show, which he's a friend of mine, and he directed The Grind. I believe he makes some of the most awesome like chairs and tables out of like horror characters like Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy. And he even told me it's therapeutic of him to just go out in his garage and work on that and just block everything out in the
Yes,
world. And that's
absolutely.
the way I am whenever I make my hockey mask or I make a costume for a film or one of my cosplays. It's just nothing else exists. I usually got my headphones in and I'm just like I'm in the zone. So it's very therapeutic. Just like the gym. I compare gym and making art the same thing. When I'm in the gym, I'm just focused and no,
You just go into your
if bombs
zone.
are going out,
And yeah, it's you're allowed to
yeah,
be able to be your authentic self when you are either
exactly.
portraying a character or you are working on yourself physically to be able to
Yeah,
keep the roles that are coming to you. Now,
yeah.
had sent me a video from someone who's extremely important to you, and that person is your dad.
Hmm.
So I'm going to see if I can cue up this video. While I'm doing that, give him a little background about who he was and what we're going to be about to see.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Come on. Get I'm going to cue it up. Go ahead as I'm queuing it up and tell them about who this person is and the effect of what it was
Okay, I
like for
thought you was
you
going.
for them.
Okay, mom's.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so sorry. He's going.
I gotta go get it.
Okay, I'm so
It's
sorry. I
okay.
thought you was going to have.
It's my first time too. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I thought you already had it pulled up and everything. I'm so sorry.
Not
Dead
yet.
silence there. So,
It's all right.
um, the clip you're getting ready to see, Dad had been in acting since he was in his 20s, but he started out doing historical things like plays and dramas because the area that we live in here, is full of history going back to the revolutionary times and all that. So he started out doing the acting with the mountain men and the frontiersmen of this area and the Native Americans. So, but he'd always had been in martial arts since he was like 19 or 20. He's got a black belt. So, with his martial arts training, Chuck Norris, Chuck Norris's brother Mike Norris was get ready to film a film here in the area called Delta Force 2, and he had an audition for a bodyguard. So my dad went in. So a friend of my dad's told him about it because he didn't know nothing about it. Told him about it, so he went down to the um the Holiday Inn where they had auditions, and Dad just walked in the room where Chuck Norris and Mike Norris was at. Just walked right in, and they looked at him and said, "Can we help you?" And Dad said, "I want to audition for the part." And so they looked at him. They looked at his build and his physique, and they said, "We'll do some moves for us." And he did. And they said, "Well, you got the part.
You see him
This is
on the
when we
screen?
start."
Do you see him on your screen there?
Yes. Yep. I see it.
All
Yep.
right.
I see it.
I'm gonna open it up and bring the full sound to it and I'm gonna let her rip.
All right. This part here was filmed in South America. Now they're in Tennessee. And this is a warehouse. There he is. That was a huge movie. It made a lot of money at the box office. Of course, you see him laying there. He actually fell on Dad right there. Chuck did.
That hurt.
How did you like the lesson? You're not so tough. My turn to teach. Lesson number 1. You son of a bitch! Shh. Lesson number 2. Skull's out.
Very good scene right there. There's the late Billy Drago.
Oh, very, very nice.
Very, very nice.
Thinking I'm gonna start cutting carbs. I need to drop my belly fat.
Yeah, that was a huge movie. It's still on all streaming services. You go on Tubi, you go on all these streaming. It's still there. Um, I remember I was 8 years old, and he took us to the movies to see it. We got in for free actually because he was in it,
Yeah.
and and the theater was packed. Every seat was just like, I mean, you couldn't find a seat in there, and it was just you won't forget that feeling when you see a family member, especially your parent, on a big screen like that. It just blows you away. You're like, you know, it's
Absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
was it was a very just awesome feeling.
So I met you originally through the film called The Grind, and that film was fabulous for a number of reasons. But there was one part where you happened to be walking into a doorway, and I went, when I first saw it, what is that? And he said, "Oh, don't worry about him."
Well, the grind's not been released yet. Is that the trailer that you seen?
Oh yeah,
The
oh
trailer,
yeah.
yes. Yep. That was filmed in my grandmother's trailer, and she has a little bitty hallway about this wide, and I had to try to fit through it.
I was like absolutely like, wow, that is really very big no coming through that doorway. So talk a little bit about The Grind and what it was like for you to be able to get placed in this film, and a little bit about your role.
Okay. Originally, they was going to have Josh Adams play the role of Leatherface, but it so happened that I was freed up, and Adam Phillips which is the executive producer of The Grind. Me and him are good friends, and he said, and him and he said I really like for Cody to be because he's just built like Leatherface. And he acts really good in the makeup and the costume and his you know playing mute characters. So Adam, he happened to call me up and said, I'd like for you to play Leatherface. I said, I'd love to. I'm not doing anything right now. So I kind of did a small audition for him, and they was like, wow, that's awesome. So that was that. And so I made the costume for it, of course, because I always have to make my own costumes and stuff. So they got the original Poland chainsaw. They happened that they got it for a movie
Yes,
prop.
because
So we
that
ended up,
one has a particular sound to it. It's
it does.
extremely unique, and
It,
when fans hear that sound, they
they know where
know.
but where it's from,
Yes,
and what
absolutely.
movie it is. And so I was like, I love to do it, and they said Brett Wagner's going to do it. And
Yes.
at the time, I was kind of like, then he said he did a scene in the original or the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I said, oh yeah, he did that one where he killed Kemper with the hammer. And they said,
Hmm.
yep, it's him. So it was an awesome experience to work with him because he's doing a lot of bigger things in the independent horror films world and everything like that.
Right,
So, and I
right.
got to work, and it was awesome to work with the crew that I worked with. It was a few days of grueling shooting, but when you got a passion for something, you can tolerate it. And plus, he
It
was
was
a
it was
wonderful
it was really hot or really cold. It was extreme
rainy.
temperature.
It it was it was
Nasty.
it was nasty, and like when it's gloomy. I mean, I'm not talking like you ever seen that gloomy. It's not even pouring the rain. It's like misty
Yeah.
type of rain. It's depressing. And you're working in that. It's just like, oh, you're been up for 20 hours, but Clarence is really good at like keeping everybody cheered up,
Yes.
and he's such a good director when it comes to that. And like he was always fun to be on set with, and cracking jokes and making us all laugh, even when we're all extremely tired, going on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep at that.
A lot of people
So
think that when you get into indie film that it's, oh, you just go for like a, I don't know, a day or a few hours or something like that. You play your part and you get to go. It's not, it's not a big deal. Why don't you give people kind of because you really know from the amount of time that you've been on set what it's really like to go through, say, a day on set. So why don't you walk us through like what time you would get up, how you arrive, and what you need to go through before you can even get your character on set.
Okay. You have to, in independent films, it's not like majority of the people that are there have real day jobs. So you have to squeeze in everybody's time in like just a few days, like 2 or 3 days. And sometimes you have to be there 20 hours. I mean, that's just the way it is. And for me, being in costume for 20 hours, now that's
Because
not
that
easy.
stuff's not, I mean, you're a big man, but that stuff's not light. Some of that stuff is
It's
extremely
not.
heavy.
It's extremely heavy, and when I'm sitting there, I have to take some of it off if it for safety reasons, because if you don't and don't drink plenty of water, you can get dehydrated and go to the hospital. That's what
That's what
happened
they
to
were
Brett
saying.
Flag.
That, yes. And he talked to me about that too. You, oh, these, a lot of the prosthetics that are used they're not breathable. I mean, so
No.
you're in it and you're sweating and you don't even have to be moving to start having an issue. So they need to be very, very mindful of how long you've actually been in it and any cues that you might have to let them know, hey, I got an issue.
Well, the thing is, with the fortunate thing about having a mask, you can take it off.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in prosthetics, like you hear these stories, these people like, Robert Englund talked about it and stuff. When you're in prosthetics, you have to stay in that stuff. You can't take it off to take a break.
Right.
Even when you go to lunch, you have to still be in it because it took you 3 hours to get in prosthetics. But the way I make my mask, especially the silicone mask and all that, it looks like it's prosthetics, but it's really the silicone and all that. So
So
I could just take it off, get some air and a drink and snack, and time the roll. I could just put it right back on.
well, that's
But
interesting. I didn't
unfortunately,
know
but
that part of it, but
but
I'm glad that it was like that. But there are a lot of instances when you have roles that you're playing that you cannot just go and do that.
no, it's when you got the prosthetic stuff. It's you can't do that. You have to
Right.
stay in
No.
it for 15, 16, 17, and it's grueling. And so that's one good thing about my costumes is it's made to where I can take it off and I can breathe and but still having the costume itself on my body, I don't want to have to get out of it and change
Right.
because that takes time. So I leave it on and I'll just put like ice down in my clothes and stuff like that and ice packs to keep me cool.
Just do what you got to do. So how how long did you have to stay like um in costume for the grind, and what was the taping for you like?
I had to stay in it for 20 hours, especially that one day that we did all my scenes. We did scenes the next night, but that whole day with where you seen me walking in the hall and stuff, that took
Right,
20 hours of filming. And I stayed in that whole costume, but I could take my mask off,
right.
but I take that apron. That apron I have is heavy. I
Yes,
made it
it is.
myself, and I take it off. But as soon as we roll, I put it back on and all that. So, but no, when we roll, I'm in character, and they ain't nothing else exists but being that
Did
character.
said so. Give us a little bit of a background because, like I said, you are exhibiting iconic roles, and many of them, if not all of them, do not have speaking role.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have to talk about. All right. So if I went on and I put on whatever the workings are for Leatherface. First of all, I'm short as heck and all of that. But to me, it wouldn't come off the way that it needs to on screen, not as people are used to. Even if I got down some of the movement, it still wouldn't look the way it needs to, which is why, people like you get those particular roles. Having a non-speaking part, though, and being a major part of the action, what is that like for you to be able to signify emotion or signify what you're going to do next, and that it's going to come off like, we better run?
Well, when you got a mask on, you can't. It's hard to see your expressions. You can't see your facial expressions.
Right.
You have it's all about how you stand.
Yes.
Your posture, which I really am in real life, daily life. I really, my posture's good. That's just how I really walk. If people's like say walk like Jason, I walk like him anyway. My normal walk. But so, and I honestly don't really have to go above and beyond to try to act like one of them with their man, because I'm in real life. I'm like, even when I turn my head, I kind of in real life kind of do like my head turns and my body follows. So it's just, but it just when I get in character though, and I put the costume and I put the mask on, whether it's Leatherface's mask or the hockey mask or even Michael Myers, which he's a lot slower.
Right.
I really get into that character. And it's so funny. I'll be on set somewhere, even for just a photo shoot. When I put everything on, everybody's trying to make me goof off, and I just kind of stare at them. They're trying to get, and I'll just keep staring. I don't, and they said, "Oh, you don't ever get out of character, do you?" So, and I don't.
Because
I have a
people,
passion for it.
when you are in a position like that, like say you're at a convention, people really want to be able to have the feel that they are in that particular presence. And yeah, you can't really goof off, because then it doesn't feel natural to you, and it's not going to come off like, I guess, natural to the people that really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much
And
out of character.
yeah, and I don't ever get out of character, even when I'm on a con walking through the hallway, and I'm in character all the time. And it's so funny. I've been in my costume 3 or 4 times. Kane Hodder seen me. He said, "I just love him. He just stays in character, and you know, and he loves how I move. He loves my movements and everything." He said that's what impresses him the most about me is not necessarily how I look, it's just how I portray the character. So that coming from
Yes.
the man himself, that's a huge honor, you know.
It must be very odd to see himself coming towards him and going, "That's what I look like? That's what it is?" Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah.
And for people that really enjoy the textures and the significance of the character and the storyline and all of that, it is very impressive to be able to see someone be able to do that, and that it's just easy. But it's not really easy. So how, I mean, I know you say, yeah, you naturally walk like that, and my goodness, but there has to be some sort of something playing in your head.
Like from how I stay in character. Is that what you're
Yes,
asking?
I want to know as much as you are willing to tell, because there are some things that you need to keep for yourself. But for what you're willing to tell, what's some of the stuff that goes through your head when you are in, because I don't know, what do I want to say to you? Sometimes a character is not necessarily a character. A character, when it's being played by the actor, they're not really playing a character. They're more like allowing for some kind of, in this case, very primal emotion to come through, but you're doing it in a way of how you look, or how you how you stare, or
Mhm.
how you simply move.
When I got all the gear, all the stuff on, um, I visualize myself outside my body and looking. I'm somebody watching me perform. I'm looking at what, like, say, when I'm in my Jason Part 7 costume, I'm looking through the eyes of somebody else looking at me, and like that's it. That's how I want my Jason to move. That's it. That's the shit. That's what's in my mind the whole time when I'm in same with Leatherface. When I'm in Leatherface
Right.
and I'm kind of like, I picture somebody watching and just being like, that's how it's done. I'm actually visualizing somebody else watching me, if that makes any
Yes,
sense
and
right
it
there.
makes perfect sense because
Yeah.
you first of all, you do it really well, but for someone who's maybe interested in learning how to establish themselves as a iconic character actor, that's the kinds of tips that would be important to them, because they want to make sure that at some point in time somebody's going to look at them and go, that just gave me the complete creeps. That I don't want to see coming towards me, but it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. And my advice for anybody that's wanting to get into like playing any kind of mute characters, look at yourself in the mirror and like see what you can like how, and look at it and see what you can make, how you can make yourself look scary.
Yes. There are a number of character development courses that teach someone how to do the facial expressions, and like, say, if they're not wearing a mask and they have their face and their facial structure fits that particular character, there are ways that they can go and accentuate particular parts of their face to be able to draw out that um, the ability to be able to portray the character in the light that it needs to be. And
Exactly.
so for anybody that would come and say, "Oh, you just put on a bunch of clothes and you walked around, blah blah blah, big deal." Um, we're here to say it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I mean, there's some people that it's it's funny. I'll show Dad somebody because, like I said, Dad's taught me acting, and like he even it's just in me. It's in my blood. And I'll show him somebody trying to be Jason, and he'll be like, "They just don't have it."
Right. But then, when you look at a character, because you love this kind of stuff, when
Uh huh.
I'm sure that you have in your past gone to a convention, say, and seen someone with the maybe the right look, but not the right energy about it, or the
Hmm.
right energy, but just not the right look. And it falls flat.
It does, and you can't take it serious. I mean, like I don't know, something about somebody that just, I mean, it's just they either got it or they don't.
Right.
And
Apparently
but in
you
all
do.
honesty, all honesty, so I'll have somebody come up to me. They look great too, and I'll be like, how I look? You look fantastic. You look great. But I'm not going to tell them, hey, you're doing a shitty job as I don't want to hurt nobody's
No,
feelings.
no, no. And that's not what this
You know,
conversation is about. This
no,
conversation is about, all right, not everybody gets it right.
no. But
But there are ways, if
that
they
you
listen to
can get it
you.
right. Yeah, they can get it right. Yep, exactly.
So, are there any kinds of, well, okay, so number one, if you really like a particular character, watch everything you can about that character.
Exactly. That's the
Why?
number one thing.
Yes. Why?
Study
Why is that so important?
every it's it that's what makes the character. Just like when I got hired in to do the grind, I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the OG, every night to see Gunnar Hansen's movements. And I, when you watch somebody's character, my brain's like a sponge; it just soak in everything. So when it was time to roll, I was ready to be Gunnar Hansen's Leatherface. That's what they wanted, and that's what I gave them. A little
So you have
twist
to
of
do some study.
a
And
little twist of
yes,
my own magic to it, and
there's
that's yeah. It's okay to put a little twist of your own magic, as long as you got confidence in yourself to do so.
because that there shows that you can not only do the thing, but that you can do the thing, give it a little twist, and still make it iconic.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it takes. So
Absolutely.
the listeners out there, I mean, if you want to play these characters, just take my advice on that, and just don't ever stop your dream of being these characters and portraying them, and whether you cosplay or just keep, just take my advice. I've been doing this for a long time, and that's it. I mean, just keep at it and just make that character, just be menacing.
All right, so I'm going to do another screen share here,
Okay.
and we are going to go for Donna versus Jason.
Okay. This is we filmed this in Charlotte, North Carolina. This was actually outside the Mad Monster Party, a big con. Kane Hodder was there. There's a few other guests. I can't remember all of. The Wishmaster was there. No, that was the year. That's the year before. But we was outside. It looks like woods. I mean, the hotel was right beside a wooded area. So Bill D. Nicola had this idea. He said, "I love your
Great
part
place to
7."
do a flick, right? All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to hit the button. Let's watch.
All right, let's watch this.
Then what happened? He slit my throat.
Really?
No, I got away.
Oh my God, that's fucked up.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we had a really good time filming that. It was funny story is it was cool. It was like I was in that hot outfit for 4 hours, and that there was such a cool breeze blowing. I felt great. The Dalton Stout was the cinematographer, and Bill D. Nicola was the director. And of course, you had Donna there, and they looked at me and said, "Aren't you hot?" I said, "I feel great." Because that cool breeze, it was just like having a cool suit on or something. But yeah, we had a really good time filming that, and everybody that was involved did a great job. We had Felissa Rose, of course, you seen at the end. She was kind enough to jump in there and be
That was
part of it.
awesome.
And
I
she
love
was
that.
she's so fun to be around, and we had a great time filming it. And it was Dalton Stout edited it and filmed it, and like Dalton or Bill D. Nicola he directed. So now we're going to something else. That looks like I see in the background.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason Dreamscape. And speaking of Bill D. Nicola, he's directing this. He wrote it, and of course, I'll be playing. You know who? So,
At the main part.
and our friend Clarence Adams is playing Freddy.
That's
So
that's going to be one hell of a movie.
yeah. So and we got some of the cast members from the grind going to be in it. Amy Cody's going to be in it. That was in the grind. Pretty much almost all the cast. I think maybe Angel Bradford that was in it. She might be in it. She's so busy though. She does like 20 films a week.
But
You
you're
know?
busy too, and you were like, "Yeah, I
I
want to
am.
do that. I want to do the
Yeah.
films. I want to do the thing." It's
Yeah.
is it an addiction?
It is. I mean, it's also it's an addiction. I mean, I honestly the biggest joy for me is bringing these characters alive and putting my work into it, like with not just being the character, but with the costuming and stuff like that. Um, but it's going to be the script is great. It looks good, and so far the hardest part's getting everybody under the same roof to do this thing
Yeah,
because
because
we
they
all
really are. They're very um wide open to doing lots of different projects, and it's great though because there is a lot of experience there. There is a lot of people that form relationships. If you get to know someone well on a set, it's often that you also have some conversation outside of it. But when you're on set, that conversation doesn't get to happen so much. But what does happen is that you start to understand how the person works, how the person moves, what they what they're capable of doing. And then there is the uplifting that, because everybody knows what they're capable of doing, and they have the ability to be able to cheer on somebody, give them some kind of encouragement for either to keep going, because yeah, it's like either cold or it's hot, or of course it's indie, it's gonna
yeah
be.
yeah AJ, our lead actress, she's in Freddy versus Jason Dreamscape, and we did a little workshop last spring, and I was with her, and she had trouble memorizing her lines, and she was really getting sad, and I was like, don't get, you got this. And I was really encouraging her. I was like, just keep, when you do lines, it's another thing. When you have dialogue, you gotta keep reading, and you gotta have it going in your head. How you gonna say it? You gotta keep repeating it to yourself, and then you gotta get those lines memorized. And when you're time to say it, you just,
It's like
you don't have.
it's like regular normal conversation.
It is, and you don't have to necessarily in a script. For me, you don't have to say every syllable like it is in the script. You make it your own and how it sounds good. Of course,
Absolutely. So let's
you
talk
know,
a little bit about digging into the script. Give me a, I don't know, few minutes on what it's like for you when you actually have a script where you've got stuff to say. What do you do to bring yourself around and get into character?
Okay. What I do personally, I go off and I go into like an empty room usually, and I say lines, and I just kind of just keep repeating, and I'll like just and I'll or I'll have somebody come with me and we'll read off. My drama instructor in school taught me this. Like I hand you the script, and you read off your part or the other part, and I'll read my part. And as I'm reading, they'll like, okay, it's this, they'll help me out, and I'm like, okay, that's an exercise I was taught. Like, that's how you can
Yes.
memorize, and that really helped me. And for all these years, I still use that technique. And I started teaching other people to do that when we're on set, because people like they had that's one of the hardest things is memorizing your lines. Is I give them that exercise to do is like I'll get the script, I'll have them do read their lines to me, and then I'll coach them, I'll help them out as they're reading, like no.
But
So
if you do it too many times, so I hear that it just starts to become very mechanical.
it does.
So what
It
do you
does.
do? How do you know when, if that has happened to you, or if you've seen it while somebody else is reading their lines? How do you know what to do to be able to minimize that?
Well, that has happened to me before. It's just like because you can tell when somebody's acting that they're trying to memorize their lines as they're acting, and you can tell that's when they get mechanical. That's why
Yes.
you got you know 100% what you're going to say. So therefore, when you're doing dialogue, when you're acting, it comes so natural to where you don't have to think about it. So no, you definitely don't want to be like when you're saying your lines, you can just tell you're trying to think about, you know, it just boom, you just have to just know it, say it, you know, and it just has to come natural. That's the biggest thing when it comes to saying speaking, having a speaking part. It just has to come natural to you.
Absolutely. So those are really great options for someone who has the passion for doing it and the um, the the right feel for the particular project. You also have to know when you're picking a project whether or not you feel it's right for you. Even if somebody says, "Oh, you'd be perfect for it," but if you don't feel it's right for you, not that that's ever happened to you, but have you ever taken a role you just didn't feel was you, and you went and you did it, and how did you feel about it while you were going through that?
Have I ever take probably back years ago I may have done something, but I really know that if I get something I'm acting plumb stupid or goofy, I'm like, I just don't see myself doing. I actually have done stuff I didn't feel comfortable with, and um, I don't know. I guess it's where I've been acting for so long. I'll manage to pull it off, but I may not have been comfortable doing it.
You know what? So I'm going to tell you, every piece of acting, whether it be spot on or like, I'm gonna bury this under it over there somewhere so nobody knows I did this. Um,
Yeah,
it helps you to define who you are as an actor.
it does, 100%.
Now that I said that, how has acting defined you as a regular human?
How it's defined to me. Um, that's a good question. I don't know because when I meet people, they're like, would never thought you was an actor. They don't think I'd ever be one. I just then when I show them my reels and my clips, they're like, holy crap, you are good. You know, there's this one girl I was working this previous job with. She said, "I'm a fan of your acting after you showed me your stuff." I'm like, "Wow, I appreciate that." So here we go. There's the face off.
Absolutely. I am. Do you have any kind of an idea when this is going to start filming, or has it?
There's been some B-roll footage already started filming, but as of like um, actual filming, like for the start of like the whole thing of like dialogue and all and action and all that stuff, not yet. We're going to start filming the weekend of April 13th. That's coming up.
That's
We're going to
fabulous.
we're going to film some few scenes of that, and of course, our friend Clarence there, that's on the left.
Yes, yes.
I know he's extremely busy. He's working on a few films now, and we just got to get him freed up. And he's already got the locations for us down in his area, his neck of the woods.
You know, we have some
So,
really, really fabulous artwork. Who is doing the graphics on these? Because they are bomb diggity.
well, Bill did that. Bill D. Nicola,
It's
and he did an excellent job with it. Yeah,
oh
he
man,
really
this is
did.
spot on. It feels
Yeah.
like they can just like freaking walk through, and I'm like, okay.
Well,
But
that actually looks like a legit Freddy versus Jason movie right there.
absolutely, 100%. And so, I for one am completely appreciative of the coloration. I'm appreciative of all of the detail in the facial expression, even though you can't see like full on Freddy. But if I swear to God, if he looked up, I would be like, yep, that's what I saw in my nightmares.
Yeah.
And it's
But
just it's great.
we did that at Carolina Fear Fest last year, I believe, or year before. It was one of them years we did them pictures, and Clarence did that shot. We was on a green screen,
Mm-hmm.
and the hockey mask and the glove was on a green screen too. And then Bill just added the flames and the light, the logos right there. So it looks really good. That's our official poster right there. Looks excellent.
It's fabulous, and I love being in between the two of these people. They are
You're right in the middle. You're right in
iconic
the middle.
best. So for you doing these things and seeing yourself on screen, thinking about back when you were a young person and some of the stuff that you really wanted to see yourself do as an adult. Is that little kid going, wow, that's freaking cool?
Yeah, yeah. Because when I was 7, 8 years old, they used to be a thing on TV on USA up all night, and they used to have the night Friday the 13th marathons on. And I used to stay up as late as I could on a Friday the 13th and watch them until I made it to like part 5 or something, and I fell asleep. And and I did that I'd get off the school bus, and I would look first. I'd look at the TV guide. A lot of these people watching don't remember TV guides or anything like that. I Earlier in that week, I'd look see what the Friday 13th is going to be on. Yes, it's going to be on USA. And I'd get off school bus on a Friday, and I'd be so excited and I'd have the popcorn ready and all that, and I'd watch them all by myself in my room. And sometimes I'd have maybe a friend over or something, but and yeah, absolutely, the kids just out, just you know.
We need more of that. We need more of this, because it, although I don't know if I would have wanted my little one to be watching stuff like that at that age, but being able to sit there and watch something and then feel moved by it, to either maybe write a story or to go and build some cosplay, or to be able to think of different kinds of characters that they could create themselves. It gets the brain to be creative, and it allows for that self-expression that stuff like these things, they don't allow. If you have your mind in just like the games and all of that, which is fine if you want to be a game creator. Nothing wrong with it. But if you want to be able to do things like cosplay, you have to find yourself in a way to be able to be working with textiles and putting things together, and the whole instrumentation of putting these things together helps your brain. It also helps to build relationships. What is it like for you? And I know you like to like quiet and all of that, but there's got to be some friendships that have built that are real important people to you. And you don't have to say who they are, but talk about what that means to you as a human being.
I have made like a doing what I've done in the past 5, 6, 7 years. I have made so many good friendships out of what I do at cons. I have a con family. When I go to certain cons, I call 'em my con family. And I see them there, and these friends will still, I don't really get around many people much, like personally, like get around, but I definitely keep in contact with everybody. And some people will shoot me a message checking up on me, or if they make a costume, they'll show it. Hey, what do you think of this, or something like that. So I've really made a lot of some good relationships and friendships doing what I do, and they all support me, and like they're great, and I if it wasn't for what I do, I never would have met them.
Absolutely. Now I know we have another clip, so I'm going to go over there and do the screen share again.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it's the grind trailer.
so we're going to go.
Yes.
I'm going to bring it all the way up to here.
All right.
Then I'm going to push the button. Let's watch.
All righty.
Cousin Frank sent you.
Hey, Frank.
Clarence
I'm
Clarence did a really good job. Yep. Clarence did a really good job putting that trailer together.
Absolutely. When I first watched it, it was nighttime, and I was tired. I have a lot of other stuff that I do outside of doing this, and he sent it over to me because I was getting ready to do some interviews for them and about that particular film, and I'm like, okay, and and mind you, I had all the lights out, the whole everything. And I was like, oh, that's okay. It's a great trailer. I love the soundtrack for it. I love the feel of it. It was very intense. And I was like, all right, I'm going to, click, and then that happened, and bam, and I jumped. I have rollers on my chair. I like almost fell the whole everywhere. Chair go one way, me go another. That was
Yeah.
great.
Well, that's good.
Oh yeah, it was
It-
brilliant. I don't think I've told him about that, so maybe probably find out from you. But
yeah, he'll
yeah,
yeah, and
that
I'm sure he'll
happened.
watch. Yeah, I'm sure he'll watch it. That's a good poster right there.
Oh hell
That was
yeah.
yeah. Josh Adams, he did the poster artwork. He does a really good job on his stuff. Um, does excellent work. But no, the in the trailer there, we filmed that at my grandmother's trailer. She just passed away recently. Um, but we filmed it in the back area there of the trailer and inside where Brett Wagner like sees the curtain there and he's touches it and stuff. That was all shot inside the trailer there. Then there's other scenes that were shot in the room of an abandoned store we shot in, which now that store is leveled. It's good. They demolished it back in the fall. Um, but no, it was a really fun experience to film that. And Angel and you've seen Angel, Kelsey, and Amy there in the scenes. They did an
Oh,
excellent job in it.
everything about that film screamed horror.
Yeah, yeah.
And these indie films that are being put out, I'm gonna tell you, they have and are getting to be the feel of a big box. We're going to throw a chunk of money in it. And I think I'm starting to prefer the indie films because you not only do you get to see, well, I get to see a lot of people I know from doing the show, but you also get things that are different. It doesn't spit out like some commercialized, over processed thing. Give me a little bit about that and your reaction to what I just said.
Well, a perfect example of a new horror film is that's to me was just commercial was Thanksgiving. It was just same old thing, same old Hollywood thing, same thing. It's been done 1,000 times. Who's the killer? Blah blah blah. I just was like, come on. I mean, then I've seen recently these recent trailers. There's one that's coming out where a guy's walking and all you see is his backside. I said, now that's how it's done, and the way the trailer looked. That looks, and it's an independent horror film.
Yeah.
And I forgot the name of the movie. It's been sent to me. It's blown up, went viral, but it looks really good. And that is an independent film. That's just an example of like these independent films. Terrifier is another one. Terrifier 2, independent. They're just so much better than the Hollywood mess. I'm not into the Hollywood stuff. It's just I don't want to see no more remakes. Please, no
Right, right,
more.
right,
You know?
right, right, right. Ooh, but okay, so you're still staying in the same genre. You're still staying with the same characters, but it's not the oh, we're just gonna remake it and let's see if we can make it better. Because, dude, first of all, those things were, I guess I can't think of another other word better than iconic. They are what we grew up with as horror. And those are the things that enter your literal nightmares and they consume you.
Yeah, they
So
do.
these ones that they're putting out now, I'm like, I'm not getting the same kind of a feel from it. It just
Yeah.
feels very commercially flat.
I call it new Hollywood mess is what I call it. The new Hollywood. I'm not into it. Honestly, when it comes to mainstream stuff, I'm not much into it anymore. I'm what the well Bill Cosby he tells me this. He said, "Oh, you're a rewatcher. I rewatch all the old stuff
That's what
all the
I've been
time,
doing.
And I'll be like, what am I gonna watch? I'm flipping through Reanimator. I'll watch it, make my 20th time, 30th time watching it. But that's just how I am. I just and this new stuff. Somebody said, "Man, you watch that new horror film, such and such. You need to watch it." And I'll try 15, 10 minutes. Stop. I can't do it. It's just same old mess. Just
You want to be able to. That's another part of when you talk about doing these characters. You already have a really good feel for who they are, their backstory, how they, have come about. But being able to put a little bit of a something something to it allows you to be a part of that character's journey.
yeah. Well, when I do a character, like say, Leatherface, I want them to see this is what I want to watch. This is it. That guy there is just what I want. He's the man. And that's in my mind when I'm playing, when I'm acting, is I want to bring them the old school back to life through me because them guys are not around no more. Gunnar Hansen, and of course Kane Hodder. He's at the age he can't play Kane. He can't play Jason no more. So through
Right.
me, I want people to be like, there he is. That's what I want to see right there. So that's what I bring to the table. And and even if I got picked for a Hollywood film, which you never know, but I would do the same thing with it. I'd bring that feel back to where
And
that's what
it's
I want
not
to see.
like that can't happen, because that can happen. That
Yeah.
whole idea of, well, I'm oof. When people say I'm just a blah blah blah, uh, really? You're taking the time, effort, energy, a part of you, and you're putting it into the whatever thing it is you do. You are not
Hmm.
just doing something, you're doing it. You are that particular thing that you're producing. talk
Exactly.
talk to people who are, maybe they've been in it a couple of years and they've got some stuff in the, behind their belt, but they're still in that mentality of, this is just something small I'm doing, and it doesn't really matter too much to anyone.
Well, the small things build up to big things, and don't ever give up. I mean, the more experience you got, the better. So don't ever look at them small things as like you're just wasting your time or whatever, because it can actually you could be discovered by it. People watch these things all the time, and always don't be you know thinking that you're just in this little small thing and just you're not getting nothing out of it. The more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. You know.
Absolutely. And there are very few people that I know that have walked that path. When I first started this show, I was like, well, it's just a small. It's not going to really do anything. It's not going to go anywhere. And I wasn't even I didn't wasn't expecting it to go anywhere except for a few, maybe one or two episodes, and then I was going to be off to do the thing that I normally do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been doing this since 2012, and I would have never thought, like 5 6 years ago, that we would still be doing the thing. But every once in a while, what happens is there's some kind of an event on, like, the world playing field, and things get really really tense, and there is a need to be able to have people find a place to be able to rest and to be able to relax. And I've been told by a number of people, I don't want you to stop doing what you're doing, because this is where I go to just kind of chill out for a little while. Is that like that for you? Do you have people that come up to you and say, man, I loved what you did, and it helped me to be able to relax for a bit?
Yeah, and when I get compliments, I'm like anybody else. I'm human. I get discouraged. I just want to just sometimes just not do nothing and just not even go on. But when I have somebody say, "I love this video. This was just made my day. people follow me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is gotten pretty big. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Tell them what your YouTube channel is while you're there.
Huskins Horror Studios. That's what it is. And I mean, the comments I get, this is the best Jason I've ever seen. If I'm having a bad day and I see them comments, that really makes me. Makes me just want to keep at it. It just encourages me to just keep going. And I just hit a video that hit 500,000 views on YouTube.
That's amazing.
And that video's not even been up, I think maybe 7-8 months. And you got some
videos. What are they saying about it? What are they saying the most about it?
They're saying this is one of the best Jason. It's from Friday the 13th Part 4 when he gets unmasked by Tommy Jarvis. Or was it Tommy Jarvis or the girl? I think it was him. But and he turns around and his face is all like just deformed and all that. I did a reenactment of that scene and people's just like, that's the best Part 4 I've ever seen and all that. And it's a really good feeling, and just and that video, I mean, it hit that 500,000 views in really a relatively short period of time, like 7-8 months. Some videos are on YouTube for 12, 13 years. And
so I'm telling you that you could really very well be in the lineup for doing that next spot.
Well, that would be fantastic. That would
Absolutely.
be, of course, every my childhood dream come true. It's my dream come true playing the independent films and playing Jason there, but to be in the big screen, that would be fantastic. It'd be great. It's all depends on what the directors and all that want in a Jason.
Right.
They might.
It's got to have the look. It's got to have the feel. It has to be as natural. That was the other thing about it. That's the other thing about these particular characters. They're authentically natural. I mean, it's probably redundant. I just said that, but there's nothing about them that isn't raw.
Yeah, no. It's that's who they are. That's their characters. They're they're killing machines. And each character or each person that played, brought a different plate to the table. Like Derek Mears, when he played the 2009 remake, he was more of like an athletic type of Jason that could jump off of a roof of a house and jump over a car and stuff like that, and that was good for that.
Yes.
But Kane Hodder was more of the slow stalker type, but had superhuman strength. That's my type of Jason right there. The slower type and having like Hulk strength, and that's what I've always visualized Jason as, anyways, like a misshapen Hulk in the woods,
Absolutely, the strength and all that energy and all that just raw gutturalness about that particular character is.
Yeah.
But that's why we love them, That's
it
the
is.
thing.
And they're all just their own character, like Michael Myers. He's you wouldn't think he was superhuman. He had the superhuman strength because he's a smaller guy. He's like 190, 200 pounds, but he can pick up somebody just like that by the throat, and it just
boy, sometimes I wish I could do that.
Just like that. That's actually really hard to do in real life. But that takes superhuman. I mean, one arm, boom, like that. That's just unbelievable. But and that's
we've talked.
I've always been intrigued. I've always been
Yeah,
intrigued by strong men, and that's what got me into lifting weights, was just seeing characters outside of horror, like the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, and stuff like that, and how strong they was, and that made me as a kid want to be like a He-Man cartoons and stuff like that.
So we've talked a lot about your background. We've talked about different roles that you played and different ways to get into character and stay into character. Have you ever had to audition?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, I've had
so
the audition.
what what can you tell someone who has got some experience in acting and maybe this is their first time having to audition as an indie actor?
Okay. I've did some recent auditions. I auditioned for the Bloody Summer Camp 2 for a few parts. I didn't get it. Can't. Well, the first thing I want to give advice for: don't get discouraged. You're probably going to get rejected.
We're going to talk a
Um,
little bit about that too. So so you have something that you want to audition for.
mhm.
What is it? How do you prepare for that? And I know each audition is going to be different, but how do you kind of like get yourself walking into the idea of going through this audition and being able to give them to the best of your ability?
Okay. Um, are you talking about like in person audition or
Hmm.
like online? In
Oh
person?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and that's a totally another animal. But in person, if you get the opportunity to do that, give us a little bit about how you prepare for the audition and maybe some kind of inside something or other that might be able to help someone listening.
Okay. Say if you go in and they give you a certain line to say, and may they give you like a script, and I don't know, they might want you to ad lib something. In all honesty, you just gotta just um, first of all, try not to be nervous. I know it's hard, and when you say your lines, you got to make them make it. You got to have them have the confidence in yourself to believe in what you're saying, and not just rambling stuff out of your mouth. You got to really, you got to put your heart and soul into that, and you got to really say your lines clearly, pronunciate them, pronunciate your words. You don't want to be slurring, and unless they want you to be slurring for a certain
Right.
part or something like that. And just honestly, just put your heart and soul into it, and you get it great. I mean, like, because I've had people say you sound you did an awesome job, but you're huge. We wasn't really looking for somebody that's your sign. But I've had people. Then I've had, oh, that's great. I want you. I want you. So it just depends on what they're looking for. Whether they want your type. It ain't just how good of an actor you are. It's just how you're physically built.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and two, how you move your facial expressions and stuff like that as you're saying your words and all that means a lot too. You just can't be just like this. Just you gotta move your eyes a certain way, and you gotta really feel what the lines are like. They give you some lines, you gotta really feel
Because
it,
it's not
not just.
easy.
No, it's not
And
easy.
right,
It's
you got
not.
to get in there. You've got to put the feel into it. So when I like, sometimes I take pictures and I take pictures of some of the people I see at conventions, or someone that wants to be a part of a particular scene, and what do you do with your hands? What do you do with your, how do you stand? And it's awkward because you got people staring at you, and you're like, if you're like me, you're not really, you know, too cool about that kind of part, but you know that this is part of the process.
Yeah.
So I tell them to go into their memory bank and pull out something that is as familiar and as close to what you're doing right there.
That's a good way of putting it, and that's another thing is putting the emotion into your line and your audition. And sometimes you do have to go to that place that you was, what happened in a certain similar situation that
Right.
you're maybe speaking from and all that. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it right there. Just you got to put yourself, your mind into that place. you know some of us have a dark place that we've been through, and if they want to see emotion or crying, you might have to put yourself in it, and you know if you want the part bad enough,
Right.
it just depends on how bad you want it.
Because it's not It's not easy. It's not for everyone. And it's coolio if you want to get in there and you want to try it out and just see what the heck happens. But if you
Mm-hmm.
really want to be able to do that part, you have to look as close to that actor or actress in that part. And a part of that is also giving that character, giving that energy something to hook onto. Because if they're not,
Exactly.
a lot of the times, if there's a director or producer that's watching you do this thing, they already know what they have in mind for that particular thing. And it does happen that sometimes they will go outside of that scope and they'll be like, you know what, that right there, it's not exactly what I had envisioned, but that energy, that look, that size, that whatever, that is what I'm seeing here. And we're visual. So if you can get yourself to be able to get connected in through that and put a little extra effort into it, you might just find that you are on your way to something that is really, really cool, that's going to give you a lot of enjoyment, and it is, of course, going to add to your resume. But if you're doing it too because you just love to do that kind of work and it's fulfilling for you as it is, I think that's great.
It is. It's um, you gotta live with passion. Live with passion, and you keep going after the passion, and the dollar will follow. And you just got to just be passionate about what you do. And I know we all want to be actors and make a living out of this, and do what we make a living out of a dream you have. What we all dream of.
Right.
But you gotta be passionate about it. Be passionate, and then the dollar will come. And consistency, stay with it, and don't give up, no matter how frustrated you might
Right.
get, but don't
Because
ever give up.
it can make your head like split
Oh yeah,
if you
it
if
definitely
you
can.
get too wound out about it and you make yourself overthink, or you get too stressed out about what's going on, you're not going to be able to do it. But if you relax into it and you're like, I can do that. This is, it's a very doable kind of thing. So give me a little bit about what it was like for you when you started getting into these acting positions and people were like, I need Cody Hux on this. Like, and your phone's ringing dinging or your email's
Oh
blowing
yeah.
up.
Um,
What was that like for you?
oh, it's an awesome experience. Just like how I got picked for it's a Friday the 13th fan film, Escape from Hell. And I'm gonna be the Savini Jason in it, and I'm actually making a costume for it too. Which nobody
Yeah.
familiar with this. Seems Savini Jason is from the video game actually, and where he comes back from hell. Maurice, the director of that, seen me with my TikTok videos and my Instagram where I'm doing my little skits I do and stuff like. He said, "I gotta have you, man. I have to have you." That's what he said, and I said, "Yeah, I'll be more than glad to do it." So I'm gonna be in that movie for him. And yeah, I have had different instances. I've had Josh Adams that wrote The Grind. He actually wants me to be in a film with him and his wife. He's filming with his wife. Me
Oh, he
being the
told
main
you.
bad guy.
He told you. He goes, I'm thinking about something and I haven't told him yet. So I guess he just done told you. That's super cool.
Yeah. So and I'm getting these roles, and it is a good feeling. And it's like I just want to just keep going, keep getting more opportunities. It's like I want to keep going. I don't want to slow down.
All right. So you've mentioned TikTok. So give us your social media information, anywhere that we can find you, for either if we want to sign you up for some work or if we just want to check out what you have to entertain.
Okay. On TikTok, it's under Huskins Horror, and on Instagram, it's under the same thing. Or just Google my name or type in my name, Cody Huskins, on either Instagram or TikTok and Facebook. I have my personal page, which is Cody Huskins, and I have two Huskins Horror Studios pages. One's private and the other one's public. But look for Huskins Horror Studios and all my social media outlets. I even have a Twitter. Not on there much, but I even have a Twitter. So
Awesome.
now
All
it's
right.
X. So,
I know, right? I don't know what the heck it is, but it's a
and
something.
YouTube channels Huskins Horror Studios. Almost 5,000 subscribers.
That is absolutely like completely cool. So now we're at the point where I'm going to ask you, do you have anything or anyone that you want to give a shout out for? Anyone that is like extremely important to you that doesn't get enough of the praise that they deserve, or any projects that you are uh, coming up with, and or if you're going to be at any conventions or any of that cool stuff.
Okay. First, I want to give the projects I'm going to be doing next. I'll go ahead and give a idea of what I'm going to be doing. I just mentioned the Escape from Hell film with Maurice. That won't be going into production until next year. Um, I got picked for another film. It's in like South Dakota or North Dakota, either one. Forgot the what he had in my or the I'm in their group. It's an original film. It's original independent film. I got picked for it. I don't think it's a huge part, but it's a decent part. I speak and everything in it, and I think I kill somebody. But then the one of the biggest things that I've been involved with is it's called something sinister. A friend of mine, Jonathan Beatty, he's becoming a big deal. Um, the trailer he sent me, they did the teaser trailer. It blew my mind. It looks like something that you'll see at the movie theater, and it actually may. And I'm the head bad guy in it. So I'm really excited about it. It's called Something Sinister. They got an Indiegogo going. Check it out. He's already going to have a Blu-rays being they're going to be sold. I think it might even go to Redbox and all these other places. Um, so yeah, check out Something Sinister. They got an Indiegogo going, and then that's about it. Of course, we're going to finish up the grind and Freddy versus Jason Dreamscape. I got a big year. I got a
Yeah,
big
you
year ahead
do.
of me.
I think it's fabulous. So, what did you think about your first experience on Zombiepalooza Radio?
I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. And I want to give a shout out to my parents. They'll be watching this, I'm sure. They are huge support. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this because they've been there with me through thick and thin on helping me. Dad used to make my costumes for him. Mom's even helped too. And
That's super cool.
Dad's painted several of my hockey masks. I mean, you're not going to find too many men in their 60s that's painting a hockey mask from Friday 13th Part 8. You're not going to do
You know, the cool
so.
thing, the cool thing that you have going on here for your support system is that there are so many that I've had on this show that just don't have like any kind of support system. And every time I get someone that has one of those, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And
Mhm.
yeah, to your support system, absolutely 100%. So let's see, we've covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything that we have not covered that you want to make sure you get in before I say goodbye?
Well, I believe we about covered it. I do want to give us some more shout outs to, I want to give a shout out to Bill D. Nicola. He's the director of Freddy versus Jason Dreamscape and the writer. You know, like we talked about, he wrote a great script. He's been a huge supporter of me. He's been through with me through thick and thin for the past like going on 3 years now, and he's really showed me the ins and outs of like just getting my name out there and really getting things launched, especially on my TikTok and YouTube channel and stuff like that. And all the rest of my friends and fans out there, I want to give a shout out to them because they lift me up. Whenever they message me, leave me good comments and all that stuff. And so yeah, I'm really excited about the future and not just with horror. I love horror and doing these characters, but and I'd like to venture into doing maybe some other things like with maybe some action films or something like that, because I love not just horror. I love all like
Right.
even some
Yeah.
comedies and stuff like that. Just exploring different avenues. So but yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the future and I want to just thank everybody for being there for me and I thank the grind cast. You guys are awesome, Clarence and Amy and you guys, Adam and Josh. So yeah, have had a great time.
We're going to be watching you have more great time because you have the personality, you have definitely the skill set, and your knowledge base is amazing. So let's
Thank you.
see that you continue for like decades.
And I'm planning on it.
Get everything you can because you absolutely
Exactly.
deserve it.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Hey, thank you for coming on to the show. And I would like to thank Tori Johnson, who is part of Mosaic TV, where this is going to be seen on, let's see, they have Watch Mosaic TV on it's a .com. And they also have Mosaic TV on a Roku channel. You can get it also through Apple, Fire Stick, and there's a couple other ones. But I'll make sure to list everything in the underneath when we put this up on our YouTube channel, Zombiepalooza Radio Live.com on YouTube, and I will let you know when this goes posting and live on our Roku station. I'm going to let him like take us out.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Good night.